Hi guys, welcome back. Another video. My name is Alisa Sandoval, and if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Well, like you guys know, I share a lot of important information in this channel, so you can, try to help others with the transition or answer questions. And like I mentioned in the first video when I started this channel, that I was going to share also stories, and then I was going to share like embarrassing moments or some of the good things that I have went through and sad moments. And today is one of those days that I want to share a story with you guys, that I want to share one of those moments that I went through. So I want to share this story with you, my first heartbreak as my journey started going on in my transition. So don't leave this channel, guys, because it's gonna get real good here right now. Don't forget to subscribe. Alright, well, this happened, I'm telling you, this happened about 5 years ago. I remember that I was already in college when this whole thing happened. I was just barely coming back from a trip with my friends, my girls. I remember we went camping during that year. We came back, and it was all good, it was all partying and fun and going out. So technically one day, my friend texts me and tells me that there's somebody that wants to meet me. And I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, there's somebody that wants to meet you. And I'm talking to you about 5 years ago. So at that time, I was barely starting my transition. I look feminine enough, I still look, like a pretty little girl, probably a young girl, because, I had no breast tissue. I was barely like starting like to use like girl clothes and stuff like that. But my face was still very feminine, my features, my height, my waist, everything. But I still had to go through big progress. So when my friend tells me this, that somebody wants to meet me, I'm like, wait, what? How did this happen? I wasn't prepared. I was never prepared to start something like this, to meet somebody or to start talking to somebody. She never mentioned to me that it was gonna be somebody that her and her friend were gonna be like compadres, like they were gonna baptize somebody. So that's how they both got to know each other. So I asked her, I was like, well, how does he know about me, or how did he find out about me? So during that time that me and her used to party all the time, we went to a camping trip, and she took a photo of the whole group that went through the camping group. So when he saw her profile pictures, because he was going through her Facebook stuff, and he saw a picture where there was like, I think there was like 8 girls. There was like 8 of us or something like that in that picture. And I was in the photo. So he said, who's that? So when he said, who's that, he pointed at me, like the girl with the black hair. Me. I had like short hair right here and long and like and she said, oh, that's my friend Alize. And he was like, oh, she's pretty. And when he said she's pretty, she laughed, because she was like, oh, like, how do I tell him, like, what's going on here? And I guess she explained to him, and he was like, wow, really? Like, she's so pretty. Like, she looks, And yeah, later on, she told him to add me on Facebook. And I remember that she messaged me first saying, hey, I have somebody that wants to meet you, and he's a really nice guy. I know him. He's curious to know you. He's interesting to know you. And I was like, okay, who is this person? And she's like, oh, look him up. This is his name. And I'm not gonna say his name on this channel. All I'm gonna say is his name. Let's go by, I don't know, Alejandro if you want, or something. Let's just call him Alejandro. Let's just say, oh, Alejandro wants to meet you. Look him up on Facebook. There I go. Look him up, whatever. And I was going through his stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, like, cool. And then she told me if he could add me, and I was like, yeah, why not, So later on, I received his friend request on Facebook, and then I received a message from him on Messenger saying, hello, my name is Alejandro, like, I'm your friend's friend, and just want to say hi, how's it going? And I don't know, and I did reply back, but I was nervous to reply back because I'm not somebody that's all the time very like open to, probably like maybe not so open in the aspect to talk to a guy, because I was nervous. I was barely starting. I didn't know what kind of talk that he wanted. He just wanted to be friends. Was he looking for something else? Or I didn't know what were his intentions, obviously. But I didn't say no, so I did a reply, and I was like, hey, how's it going? And then I remember it was very short conversation. It wasn't very long. So I messaged back my friend. I was like, hey, like, listen, so he added me, he messaged me, and I replied back. So everything has been good, like he seems like a nice person. Like, it's like, oh yeah, he's very nice, he wants to get to know you. So the next day I wake up, and I see a message from him like, hey Alice, how's it going? And I started replying back. So it kind of became a thing, where we started messaging more and more, and he started like I'm talking to you about like, we started from like nothing to like talking to like almost like throughout the whole day, like, hey, how's it going? Good morning. How are you doing? What are you doing? And I would text back too, and sometimes we would talk about anything, like any little thing, and our conversation would just go on forever. He had my Facebook, and then first we started on Messenger, Facebook, and then we jumped into text message, which was my phone. I remember that when I was in school, I was in class, and I would be texting him. While I was at home, I would be texting him, before going jogging or something, I would be texting him. And I don't know, it was just like, it kind of became like a thing, where I was getting used to his text messages and everything. But this is where I made the mistake of, I guess, I was 18 years old, 18, 19, around that age. I was still growing up. I still had to go through a lot for me to realize that it's not just a text message, it's I guess I started developing this good chemistry with him, with Alejandro, and it just kind of became like we would talk 24/7, where I started developing such a kind of like an emotion towards him, like feelings towards him, because sometimes he would say sweet stuff to me, and by me experimenting this with the guy as my first time, and the guy telling me sweet stuff and stuff like that, of course you're gonna fall for it. He's older than I am, and he was older than I was, obviously, and he had an experience. He was just finished getting out of a relationship, and I remember that he's never met anybody like, a transgender female. He's never experienced anything like that with anybody like me, so it was new to him too as well. And I don't know, like, I started like getting butterflies when I would receive a text message, and my my brain started like, I don't know, it was crazy. It was like adrenaline every time I received the text message from him, or we would talk about something, and hey, like, we should do this, we should do that. I remember that before I met him for the first time, and my friend was planning a party. she told me that he was gonna be over at the party, that he was gonna be in, and I was just not prepared because it was gonna be the first time. So he had already invited me like 2 times before this party to join him. After we've been talking for a long time, for days, like 24/7, and saying sweet stuff to me, he had already invited me 2 times to, I believe one time it was to a church and the other one to a restaurant. And then when this party was gonna happen, it was the first time that I was gonna see him. I was just nervous. I was telling my friend, I was like, oh, listen, like, I don't know, like, I'm kind of scared about this situation. I remember that day of the party came in, and I was already like super nervous, and I was like, oh my god, like, what do I wear? What do I do? He's like, you want me to pick you up? I can pick you up and take you to the party, and we can both live from there. I was like, oh no, like, it's fine, my friend's gonna pick me up. I didn't want him to pick me up because I was nervous, but my friend ended up picking me up that day, I remember, and he said that, he's like, oh, how come you don't want me to pick you up, like, I wanted to see you, I wanted to see him so bad at that moment. I wanted to see him, like, you have no idea, like, I wanted to be like, hey, yes, pick me up, like, but then at the same time, I was scared. This wasn't normal for me. It was new, so I didn't know how to handle this situation. So time goes by, and I see him for the first time in front of me at the party, and my friend's like, hey, look, listen, this is Alice, and Alice, this is Alex. Alejandro, I'm sorry. Alejandro, I was like, oh my god, like, and in my mind I was just saying, like, oh my god, he's handsome. Oh gosh, I still remember it, like, I'm like, what was I thinking? But I was like, he was handsome, like, and I was just like blindfolding, and I'm like, I don't know, it was weird, it was funny, I felt butterflies on my stomach too. I didn't know if to hug him or to like shake his hand, and I was just like, he's like, and my friend needed something from the store, so I was like, okay, he offered to go to the store, and my friend was like, hey, Alice, you want to go with him, Alejandro, I'm sorry, you want to go with Alice to the store and buy whatever I need for the party? And Alejandro was like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. We went to the store, I remember, and we were like on the car, and we were listening to music, like, oh, this song. I remember there was this song playing called, okay, I remember that the song was called Last Night, and it was, I think, by P. Diddy with somebody else. I don't remember, but I was like, I like this song. He's like, oh yeah, it's an old song, but it's a good song. And he was just telling me that he had just barely moved from, Monterey to where I live, and that he was barely starting a new job here, and that things were, that he was trying to get adapted to the environment and stuff like that, because he was just finishing from a relationship not too long ago, and he was just kind of telling me about his life. He was asking me questions. I remember that he was telling me that he liked my hair. He had a thing for black hair, girls with black hair or red hair. It's hilarious. Oh my god. I'm like, what was I thinking at that time? Like, it's funny because you grow out of this experience. You learned a lot of things. But we got to the store, we bought whatever we needed. Then we went back to the party. We started drinking and stuff like that. He didn't want to disrespect me, which was totally great, because I started drinking more and more. And there was this point where I was like feeling really, really, really tipsy. And that's where I kind of screwed up. Why did I screw up? Like I said, it was my first experience. I had no experience before in a relationship, especially now with the guy. You're you're transitioning from male to female, and your first experience, you're getting to know this guy that he's new to this as well. And I remember that I got so drunk that I felt emotional that night. I felt super emotional. There was people at the party, but I remember that I started crying. At one point, I started crying. I'm not sure how this started. I don't remember exactly how it started. I just remember that I told him how I felt in this party. I told him that I was like, listen, you know, like I like you. You know, I like you as a person. I don't want to lose you. You know, I want you to. I believe this happened because he kept mentioning that he still had a thing for his ex and he kind of wanted to go back with her or something like that. He was gonna give it a try, or that he still didn't know if he was gonna go back to where he used to live. Something like that happened. But that's when I started crying and telling him about my emotions. And I was like, listen, you know, like, I don't want you to leave. I want you to stay here. I want you to, you know, work things out. You know, give it a try. You know, you never know, whatever. I remember I was telling some things like that to him. That's when my friend came in and she was like, hey, you know, everything okay? Why is she crying? I'm so embarrassed to even say this, but I remember that I went, they took me to the bed to lay down. I was like crying because they were like, I was trying to be next to him, and my friends were like, no, you have to go lay down. You have to get a little bit of rest because you don't feel okay right now, and you'll see him right now. At that time, I told him that I wanted to see him, that if he can please come over to where I was. So they call Alejandro, and Alejandro comes to the room, and he's sitting next to me. And he's like, hey, you know, like, listen, like, but before all this happened, I remember that we kissed one time during the night, and then even more butterflies fell in my stomach. But after this whole kiss thing happened and me crying, and I was in the room with him, and he was like, hey, listen, you know, like, I don't want you to be like this, you know, I don't want to like seeing you like this, so just relax, no worries, lay down, you know, and it's gonna go away. And I remember that I was just like next to Alejandro, like, hey, please don't leave me, don't go, like, I need you here with me. I don't know, it was just like kind of cute and innocent attachment for me to him. I felt like I was gonna lose him at one point. That I don't know what was going through my head at that time. It was so many things going on. I remember I laid down in bed and he lay next to me, and he was very clear. He was like, hey, listen, you know, like, nothing's gonna happen, like, I'm not gonna disrespect you. I want to be here next to you, but I don't want to disrespect you in any way, and I hope you can understand that. And I was like, yeah, like, you know, like, that even made me felt more respect towards him, because he didn't take advantage of me in any way. He was very respectful. I remember that he stood there at all times. After the party finished, I remember I stayed at my friend's house. Alejandro stayed with me. But like I said again, he didn't disrespect me. I remember I kept throwing up the whole night. I kept running to the bathroom, and I was just like so embarrassed that, like, I get to see him and all this happened, and you know that I already expressed myself out when I shouldn't have. I don't know, I guess I learned from that experience. But after that, just things kind of went a little bit weird. Not weird, I'm gonna say, but we still kept talking. We still kept messaging as time went on. He later on expressed that he was gonna go back to where he used to live, and he was gonna see if he can fix with his ex something out or something. And I was just like, hey, don't go, like, listen, like, you know, like, I have feelings towards you. Why are you gonna leave and you're gonna go look for your ex when, you know? But he still felt a lot of feelings for his ex. I don't know, it was just such a mess. Like, he wanted me there, but he didn't want to leave his ex, you know? And I wanted to be there for him, but not as a friend, maybe, because I used to see him more than a friend. So for me, it was more difficult for him to tell me, like, hey, I'm gonna go see my ex, blah blah blah, and him telling me all this sweet stuff through messages and telling me how beautiful it was and stuff like that. Like, it just made it more confusing. It took me a while to realize that he didn't know what he wanted. He was still struggling with his emotions. He wasn't okay with himself. So either at one point I told him, I was like, hey, listen, like, I was like, I just started my journey, and I know you're probably like wondering, when am I gonna finish with this, or when am I gonna proceed with this? And he was like, so how long you have more? And I remember I used to tell him, well, like 2 more years, like, and in 2 more years I'll be finished, like you can wait 2 more years, right, or something like that. And he was like, yeah, but then, like, how do I know? In 2 years so many things can happen. And I was just like thinking, like, why is he keep mentioning, like I don't know, like he wanted it but then he didn't want it, and it was just difficult. He definitely liked my attention in all ways, because I used to reply to him, look for him, like, hey, don't drink and drive. I was just aware for him in a lot of ways. I remember that the last time I saw him, it was outside the house. And at this point, things were already going down the hill. Why? Because he kept mentioning his ex, and I was already fed up with the ex in so many ways, that he had just listened. Like, he was just like, my ex this, my ex that, my ex this, my ex that. And I was just like, oh, do I always have to listen about this person? Because I'm like fed up, like, tired, annoying. Like, I don't want to listen about it no more. That's it. So one time he was like, okay, we need to talk this in person. I'll talk to you in the car. And we did. We ended up talking outside my house. He pulled up. I went inside the car. We started talking. He's like, so what if I do this? What if I do that? What if I go back with my ex? What will happen with you and me? Like, will you still talk to me? What if I talk to somebody else? And I was like, listen, I understand where you're coming from. I understand that you want to have me around, that if you were to date somebody, you still want to meet their day of tomorrow. But I was like, listen, for me, it's not going to work out, because I have feelings towards you. So me seeing you with somebody else, it's not going to work out. Like, I'm just going to hurt myself, and that's not healthy for me. And like, if that's what you want to do, it's totally up to you. I respect that, but you also have to respect what I believe and how I think. So if that was your case, go for it. I'm not gonna hate you. I'm not gonna hold any grudges against you, because it's not something that has to be forced. If it has to come naturally from both of us. So I remember that I started crying in the car and telling him, like good luck. I remember that technically I knew it was gonna be the last time that things were gonna go good in between us. That it was the last time I was gonna see him. And maybe he didn't see it coming, because he probably thought that I was still gonna be there after everything we discussed and everything we went over, and everything, all the things he told me about the girls and blah blah, and he was already seeing somebody at one point too. And I don't know, it was just, like I said, it was a mess at this point. I was a mess with myself. I felt drained. I felt like I wasn't being myself anymore. I felt emotional, sad. There was so many things going through my head because our friendship. But like I said, you just never know when it's gonna be the last time you're gonna see that person until you put an end to it. I decided that after that time that we talked and everything, I was like, I was because I used to cry in my room. I used to cry and listen to music. And if I dedicated him a song, he's like, why are you dedicating me a song? It's too soon for you to dedicate me a song. But when you dedicate somebody a song, it doesn't mean that there has to be a certain time for you to dedicate a song. It just felt right for me to say it and to be like, oh hey, like I want to dedicate you this song. Like, and he would say like, no, like it's too soon for that. Or if he was like, hey, I want to see you, and I would like, okay, yeah, come over. Like I want to see you or hang out. He's like, oh, but you took too long to reply. Never mind, I can't go see you. There was just so many things negatively at that time from him, and they were drowning me down because he wasn't okay mentally at that. I'm not saying he had mental problems. I'm just saying he wasn't okay in terms with himself. He still needed to heal from his past relationship. He needed to be a little bit more, I guess, open. He was so negative in a lot of things. He was very negative, and I remember I always used to be like, hey, don't say that, like there's always gonna be something good, or don't drive that fast, you can have a car accident. He was like, oh, I don't care, like it's fine, I drive like this all the time. Or like, hey, don't drink and drive. Or like, hey, don't go see your ex. Oh, it's okay, like I want to see her to see what's gonna happen. Or, there was just so much negativity, and I feel like all of that was drowning me down. It was taking me down because I was trying to help somebody else when that person was drowning me down, to the point where I was like, I can't do it no more. I can't. Like, that's it. Either I stop this now for good, or it's not gonna end up well for me. I was depressed already in my room. I would cry, and I didn't know what was going through my head. I didn't know if I was gonna do the right decision or not, to the point where I was like, enough is enough. I remember that he would text me, and I was like, I can't reply back no more like I used to. Like, I have to put an end to this. But I didn't want to be rude either and be like, hey, don't talk to me anymore. Don't message me no more. I guess that what I started doing is I put it in my head, and I was just like, okay, within the next 3 months, I'm gonna take him out completely. I'm gonna take him out, and I'm not gonna miss him. And I put it in my head so hard. I put it in me so hard that I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I started jogging. I went outside to exercise. I wouldn't listen to anything that's sad music or anything. It would just be like happy music. If I was to watch something on TV, I wouldn't put anything that's sad or romantic. Everything. And if I was to think about him, I would change my mind. I would be like say I have a thought of him, or something. Like, immediately I would change my mind. And I would like, okay, like, let's think of something else. And I forced myself to think of something else. And that's what I really liked about myself, because I learned to do that with him. That I was like, okay, I can do it, like, I can do it. I can take him out of my heart. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but I can do it. I used to think that if it wasn't him, it wasn't going to be with nobody else, that he was the only one out there for me. And that's not true. There's just so much. Imagine, I was 18 years old, 19 years old. I'm 26 now. How long ago was this? Like really, like, there's so much out there still for you. Don't hesitate yourself. Don't rush things out. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Don't force things. And like I said, your first experience is always going to be devastating. Your first experience is always going to be a heartbreak. It's going to be crying. It's going to be depression. Why? Because you're putting so much effort to something that in the end it's going to break anyways. Because if the person is not okay with himself, he cannot. If somebody's not okay with themselves, how can they love you? I remember he texted me after I started. I still texted him. I remember I still texted him very limited. It wasn't no more like the hi, good morning, how you doing, goodbye, good night, whatever. It was very, very, very limited. And sometimes I wouldn't even reply back. And I did it not to be rude with him. I just did it to be okay with myself, to heal inside myself. I was like, well, if he did that to me, it has not even been a year. Why would I go back to it again and have him drown me again? So I just kind of let it go. I remember he got upset because he was like, how come you don't text me no more? You were like always texting me. You were like there for me 100%, you know. And I miss that old Alice that was there for me. I was like, things change, you know, like things are not gonna be the same no more because I really tried, and I put in a lot of effort for you, and you just made it seem like it was not worth it. I don't hold any grudges against him. He's definitely somebody that I always care for him, and that I'm always gonna care for him in a good way. It's not his fault, I guess, because he was going through a heartbreak too, and he had problems. You know, you can't blame somebody for being like that and having so many problems. But I do think that I would have done so much for this person. But I guess, you know, it's a new chapter. I'm happy for him because I remember that when he reached out to me, he was like, how are you doing? And I was like, I'm doing great. He told me that he was already moved on. He was living with somebody. He was already living with somebody, dating this person. I don't know what was the thing, but and then later on he told me like they broke up again. So I don't know what was going on, if it's, but then he was like, I'm sorry if I ever broke your he apologized again for the past of how he managed things. I'm sorry for being hurtful in a way or something like that. And I was like, it's okay, no worries. I try to change the subject because I don't like touching back the same subject. Things happen for a reason, I guess, and if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be, you know. And when he told me I'm sorry, I was like, just look, listen, I was in a different stage of my life. I was in a different position. I have grown up so much. I have matured so much. Your experience helped me mature a lot. It did. Of course it did. Thanks to that experience, I was able to learn. There was good times and bad times, but I keep the good times, not the bad times. I hope this person is doing great. Don't let guys drown you down. Move on. There's millions of guys out there in the universe. Sometimes we think that one person, if it's not that person, it's not meant to be with anybody else. And it's not true. I feel like when you force it, it's worse. In the end, you're just gonna be ending up breaking yourself up. You're gonna break your heart, your own heart. So don't force things. You know, let them flow. And if they work, you'll see them. You'll see results on your own if it's gonna work out. But if it doesn't work out, it's better to say bye in good terms instead of like ending in bad terms and like, I hate you, you know, never talk to me. Like I say, me and this person, we still like here and there, like I'll maybe like when he reached out to me like, hey, how you been, you know. I didn't say like, hey, don't talk to me, you know, I hate you. I don't hate him. I don't. Like I say, I grew up from this experience. I'm happy he's doing good, you know. I'm happy that he's in good health condition, this person, and I don't wish him any bad at all. I always wish him the best, and I hope one day he finds that peace he was always looking for. That person, the special person he was looking for too as well. So I just wanted to share this story with you guys. I hope you enjoy this story. There's not everything that we see it's bad. It has to be bad, you know. we can end up in good terms with these persons. We don't have to end up as enemies. Better to be friends than enemies, correct? But you know, everybody's different. Everybody has different emotions. If you feel like it's better for you to be apart, then go for it. And if you feel like having this person next to you all the time, it's not gonna work out for you, then you know, goodbye. But that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't let relationships drown you. I'll see you guys next time. Please don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Love y'all.